It's another week, and I don't know what date. What's the date now? We're in August. We're at the end of August. Episode I can't remember, but I'm sure Danny knows. Danny, what episode are we on?
I think we're on 20.
Yeah, big 20. And today, who do we have later?
Jimmy Orama.
Jimmy Orama. He's our Eddie Bravo to our show. So if you don't know Eddie Bravo, he's a big conspiracy theorist on Joe Rogan. And he's our guy for that kind of good stuff. So we'll go with that. So we're going to start off with, NFL, right? Because NFL started. I just had my first draft yesterday. I think I did pretty good, but we all say that on draft day. And then when you end up 1-10 or whatever, 1-11, you're like, dude, I suck. But let's go through the NFL. Let's talk about a couple of players, especially like Aaron Rodgers is going to be in a different city. He's a New York Jets now. You used to be an Aaron Rodgers fan. Are you still a fan of his?
Yeah, I'll still follow him. I mean, I did the same thing for Brett Favre when he went to New York Jets, so it's kind of weird that they're both going.
Do you have a Favre Jets jersey?
I do.
Yes. I thought you had a Mark Sanchez too.
I do.
Oh, hilarious! Trying to bust those jerseys back out.
I don't know what to do with them. I still have them.
Oh my gosh!
What do you do with jerseys? Like, especially guys who bust like Matt Leinart. I was so happy when I got that jersey.
Yeah.
And then turned out to be horrible.
I'm with you. I thought Matt Leinart was going to be like the next big thing for Arizona. I remember the day they drafted him. Everyone was so excited. I was excited. I thought he was a good USC quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
Matt Leinart, God, everyone was on that bandwagon. Like he was going to do this, do that.
If they should draft quarterbacks in the 6th round pick, like a Tom Brady.
Yeah. That way you're not expecting much. So if he does anything, you're like, yay. Mm-hmm. Speaking of quarterbacks, you hear about Kyler Murray might not be playing at all this year.
Really? I didn't hear that.
At all this year. So it's being talked to behind the scenes. I've seen a couple things come out that they're already thinking that he might not be playing at all this year. And that's a shame. Look at those jerseys. Those are old school Cardinals jerseys. Just totally plain. Looks like Alabama, right? Look at those.
It's very plain.
I kind of like it like that. It's starting to grow on me a little bit.
You think so?
No, not at all. I was just saying that, but I'm not a Cardinals fan, so I don't care. Cardinals traded Isaiah Simmons. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Holy cow! Leave it on this page. I want to see what's on here. Cardinals, Steve Hill question in there. I think they got a new quarterback too recently. The Cardinals did.
They did. I saw that.
They traded for a quarterback.
It's Joshua Dobbs.
Oh, wow. Are we getting a bunch of backups or something?
I don't know.
Dude, that quarterback that they drafted, I think that's him right there, 17. I forgot his name, but...
No, that's... It's not 17.
Who is that?
Because that's Blau. He's played before.
Oh, he did?
I think it's Toon.
Toon
Mm-hmm.
sucks.
Yeah, he's been starting the preseason. I don't think I saw him get a touchdown.
I'm just kidding. He doesn't suck. He's in the NFL, but it's just hard for someone like him. I don't think he has weapons, man. I'm not digging the Cardinals receiving core at all. And you're a Cardinals fan, so you might have a different opinion on that. But man, Colt McCoy, I heard might not be starting. Like, what is going on? Dude, these guys are going to, what did we say, 3-win season looks better and better now. But, Kyler's not going to play, watch. And it's good because now we'll get number 1 pick. And I heard Gamble, talk about it the other day. If the Cardinals get the number 1 pick, they almost have, and if Caleb Williams has the same year he did last year, you have to draft Caleb Williams. So
they got rid of Isaiah Simmons to New York Giants for draft
7th round pick. Wow, how he fell hard.
That's all he's worth. His 7th round pick.
Well, you know that he wasn't going to get traded because they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. They expected too much from Isaiah. Like they paid 1st-round money for someone who should have been drafted like in the 4th round. In reality,
I mean, they're picking up picks.
I liked him too. I did like him. I'll be honest. I'm not I'm not a Cardinals fan. This quick disclaimer. I liked him. He had some flashes of greatness, but not enough to be that stud, right?
That's a fair point. He did have flashes of greatness, and
Yeah,
but overall, no
very
consistency.
mediocre sometimes. But then sometimes you're like, wow, he's playing out of his mind. So I think the big thing that Cardinals didn't like about him is the consistency. Is what they were like. We don't know which guy we're getting. Wait, go up. Are those helmets new? That logo looks a little tweaked. A little tweaked. That looks like a Louisville helmet. Louisville Cardinals.
Right.
That looks a little different. I wish the Cardinals would go to a red or a black jersey or a black helmet. I'm not digging the white. That's too.
They got rid of Cardinals deal backup tackle Josh Jones to the Texans.
Yeah, he's back up. So you know someone's going to get hurt, and they're going to really. They would have needed him, but now guess what?
So they traded him and a 7th-round pick, probably the one from Isaiah Simmons, in exchange for Texans' 5th-round pick.
Okay, well.
So they kind of moved up a little bit.
I'd liked it better if it was a 4th round, but whatever.
I see the Cardinals getting a lot of picks for next year.
I see them like not rebuilding, but just rebranding next year. Dude, I'm telling you, if they get that pick from Houston ends up being a really good pick, which it could be. If the Cardinals get 1st and 2nd pick, they can have for the next 10 years, Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. would be outstanding. Best case scenario right there.
I hope they know what they're doing. I mean,
they
they have a
know
new
what they're doing.
GM.
They don't know what they're doing.
They have a new head coach.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing. So
it's the organization. Huh?
Watch they get the number 1 pick and they trade it away. Oh, we have other needs. We have needs everywhere else. No, get that stud quarterback. That wasn't Kyler Murray, and see what you have. I mean, Kyler Murray's injury, that scares me now. He wasn't, he was already not the greatest quarterback when he got hurt. Now that he's hurt and he's going to come back from that injury, like, dude, he might not be at all what he used to be.
I don't think so either.
I hate bagging on Kyler Murray because I really do. I did like when he came out.
That's how I feel. I find myself bagging on him a lot because he got paid a lot of money. And sometimes I see, like, I could be wrong, doesn't show a lot of heart.
I heard about that in the commitment. There's a lot of players, and I wish they would put their name on it.
Like, things went downhill as soon as he got his money. As soon as he got that fat contract. Like, why even try hard?
Yeah. And for the record, I was against paying him. I told everyone, don't pay him. Go get a backup quarterback for 1 year.
Win a playoff game first, and then demand the money.
Yeah. Demand the money. Get to at least the conference title game and say, this is what I bring to the table. You don't win a playoff game, that shows me you're not bringing anything to the table. You can beat bad teams, but when you play against the good teams or teams that barely got in the playoffs, like, you can't beat them.
Oh, why? You blame the head coach and stuff? Like, come on, man.
The head coach, I think that whole thing with their ex-coach, I think he gave up on him. I think Kyler steamrolled him. I think he saw that the organization cared more about him, but they're still paying him for 4 years, so good for him. And now he's at USC. He's at USC quarterback coaching or helping out with Caleb Williams, who could be the future Cardinals quarterback. How weird is that?
Wait a minute. So he's still Cliff Kingsbury still secretly working for the Cardinals. We're at a college where he's grooming
USC
players.
Right now. He's at USC helping out, so we'll see what happens.
Grooming USC players for the Cardinals.
Caleb's going to be number 1 pick, man. Unless he gets injured or something happens, he's going to be a stud. And he's going to be up there.
Hey, I like this conspiracy.
It's not much of a conspiracy. I just think it's the truth. I think Kyler's on his way out. He's not going to play any more games. He's going to sit out. There's no weapons on this team. James Conner is your best bet at running back, but let's be honest. If you're playing from behind, you're not running the ball much. You're going to be throwing the ball. So the Cardinals are going to be playing from behind most of the games. They're going to be trying to air out the ball. They're not going to be running it all the time. So James Conner, if you're doing fantasy, might not be a good option.
I'm intentionally avoiding any Cardinals player for my fantasy team.
I didn't draft any.
That's a good move.
I did draft Hopkins, but I got him late. I was like,
how late?
Dude, I want to say like 8th round, 7th round.
That's good then.
That's super late. He's my backup receiver. And I was like, I got to take this guy.
It's still Hopkins. I don't think he's done.
He's not done. I mean, you got, what's his face? Is the quarterback? Tannehill is his quarterback. So Tannehill's decent, so he airs it out. And Hopkins is the first option. So I think he'll get the yards. I'm good with that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see in this season in the NFL? real quick, I saw a lot of things of the Cowboys being like highly favored. I'm like,
Yeah, it's probably coming from Cowboy game, man.
everyone's
They're the
coming.
loudest. Come
Everyone's
on.
coming after the Eagles, so no one from the Bears division. I don't think the Vikings have the mustard to get up there. 49ers, maybe. I like the 49ers. I'm not a fan of those, but
Not a
I
fan
like
of
them.
but to realistically believe that
Challenge.
they're gonna win their division, I think so.
They can win the division.
I don't see the
Rams fell-
Rams. I don't see the
Rams
Cardinals.
just fell like hard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see the Cardinals or Seahawks beating the 49ers in that division.
Or the Seahawks, yeah. So yeah, I think for that division, it's
I
probably
think it's Niners Eagles in that conference championship, and I think the Niners can do it this year and get to the Super Bowl versus Kansas City, which
Versus
Kansas City
Kansas
wins.
City?
Kansas City wins it. They're just too darn good, man.
They are darn good.
And it's so hard because I want to hate them
Mhm.
because they play in the Raiders division, but they're just dang, they're good.
I'm trying. Maybe the Eagles again.
Maybe the Eagles. I think
Maybe Eagles.
there's a rumor that the running back Jonathan Taylor from the Colts might get traded to the Eagles. They have until Tuesday to work that deal out.
Oh wow.
If that happens, woohoo, oof, Eagles are gonna look strong. If that happens, strong. But I'm just looking at it right now. Cincinnati's gonna be good. They'll challenge Kansas City. Buffalo, I lost faith in them. I don't think when it comes to playoffs they can do it. You know, they're a good regular season team. There's a team in that division. Oh, the Jets. What if the Jets surprise people and they come out looking ridiculous? What if Aaron Rodgers just has new life? It could happen.
Could happen.
It could
is
happen.
he playing for money or is he playing for pride?
He's got to be playing for pride. He might be. You know what? I'm going to win my second Super Bowl. I'm going to spit in Green Bay's face for not treating me good. You know, for never drafting a offensive player in the first round until I left. You know, until there's a quarterback to replace me.
Right.
You know, that's like a big FU. Like,
There's a chance I could see the Bengals make it to the Super Bowl.
I can see the Bengals. I just said they're the biggest challenge to Kansas City.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They can do it. Joe Burrow's a stud. I think Joe Burrow's a stud. And his receiver, that Chase kid, oh my gosh. They're going to be good. Cardinals, not so much. They're going to suck. They're going to be horrible. I can't wait to watch. I think they're going to be definitely I wonder if they've got to be 2-1 negative, right? Like their other teams are going to outscore them by double.
Oh, I
by the
can't wait
end of
to
the year.
give weekly updates of my gambling.
They have to be. They're going to be easily. I'm going to say right now over under. They're going to get teams are going to double them in points. Not just every game, but by the end of the season.
Oof.
Teams will score, I don't know, 400 points against them, and they'll score maybe.
Well, how many close
100?
games do you think? Actually, let's look at their schedule.
Close games? There'll be some close games.
Like they'll still lose, but not lose with dignity.
Let's look at blowouts. How many blowouts are they going to have?
Okay, let me pull up the schedule.
Pull up the
I might as well
schedule.
let the audience see what I'm looking at right now.
Let's see what the blowouts are going to look like.
So we just looked at preseason. Yay. I think the Commanders will lose, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
No, that won't be a blowout.
Giants will be a blowout.
It's here. You think it'll be a blowout?
Yeah, they've done it before. Why not?
Blowout? What's the definition of a blowout? Double-digit win?
No, you can
10 or
lose by
more.
10. I don't think that's a blowout. I don't even think losing by 14 is a blowout. I think 17 plus.
So we're going to go 17 plus is a blowout. Wow. Okay. I would say 14. 2 touchdown is a blowout. But we'll go with 17. Okay, Giants.
Actually, hold on one second.
I don't know if the Giants will be a blowout.
I didn't judge the Cardinals defense well enough.
Yeah, they suck.
Are they that bad?
Keep in mind, preseason, you're letting your second and third string play against their second and third string. So Cardinals' first string does not. I'm not scared.
Yeah, I think both sides of the team, offense and defense, were bad on their first strings. So yeah. So
Buda Baker's the
Commanders-
stud. He's my favorite Cardinal. Buda
he's
Baker.
still around, right? He didn't get traded.
I love Buda Baker. I hope they keep him and rebuild with him. I think you can convince Buda to sign a long-term contract if they suck this year. And they say, listen, we have money, we have resources, and we have picks. We have top 2 picks. We're going to rebuild. And I think he'd be all in for it. He loves it here. He's a stud. Buda Baker's hands down my favorite Cardinal, and that's the only person I'm going to root for. And it sucks that I want them to lose because I want them to rebuild.
Yeah, he is the Cardinal, huh?
He's the Cardinal right now. Kyler Murray's not.
No.
He's injured all year. He's going to be injured all year. He's done.
Is that the replacement for Larry Fitzgerald then? Is Buda Baker?
For now, until Caleb Williams comes in and becomes the man.
Because Kyler was around when Larry Fitzgerald was still around, but when Larry Fitzgerald silently walked away, we thought it was Kyler
We
Murray.
thought it was Kyler, but we also thought it was Hopkins too. Like Hopkins
We
is
thought
going
it
to
was
be the next
Hopkins
great
too.
thing. And then that steamrolled with his suspension. Come on.
But then Buda Baker, yeah. I mean, I've seen him miss some tackles and whatnot, but he's still a great player.
Dude, he's a Badger. He's a stud, man. That guy he hits. I love Buda Baker. I'm not gonna say anything bad about him because he plays with 100% heart. He gets on his players. He gets in their face. He's the guy that says, "Dude, get on my page. Get on the same level. Quit dancing around. Let's do this. We're grown men." Dude, he's a stud.
All right. Yeah, I agree. I think Buda Baker is the Cardinal.
So Giants, you say blowout. I don't think it'll be a blowout.
All right.
I think it'll be much closer than you think. Cowboys will be a blowout.
This is a revenge one because Cardinals have been beating the Cowboys for a while.
The Cowboys are retooled. I don't give them enough. I hate on Dak, but Dak has some weapons, man, and their defense is better. I think they crushed the Cardinals. That'll be a blowout. And the next game in San Francisco in Levi Stadium, that's a blowout, dude. Bengals blowout. They're 3 in a row. Rams will be close.
I think that'll be a close game.
They'll lose. Hold on. Seahawks. Yeah, Seattle, they'll lose. Not a blowout. Ravens at State Farm, not a blowout.
I'm going to say blowout.
Yeah, it could be, but I'm holding faith that they'll gracefully lose.
I'm not giving them leeway about home games. They can still get beat just as bad. We just saw last year they only won one game.
No.
Right? At home. They only won one game at home and lost 8.
I totally forgot about that.
So I'm not giving them any leeway on home field advantage. Not for the Cardinals. Other teams, sure, but not the Cardinals.
Did we say that? I think the Browns can beat the Cardinals in Cleveland.
But close game.
Close game.
Close game. Yeah.
Falcons here. Games. I think Falcons win close game.
Close game. Yeah, I don't think the Falcons are that good, huh?
At Houston, that's 50-50.
Make the decision.
I think they win in Houston.
I know they're going to win in Houston, but make the decision if it's a close game or not.
They'll win with a close game.
I'm going to say Houston sucks.
Well, here's the thing. Houston does suck, but who's going to be the quarterback in Week 11?
I don't care if it's Kyler Murray.
Yeah, they'll win. Okay.
So it's not going to be it's going to be a close game.
It's going to be
like 6-3.
They're going to get their first win in Week 11, and they're going to come back and they're going to beat the Rams at home.
Rams close game.
Close game. They'll win.
Steelers
blowout.
All right. Week 14, they finally get a bye. They're finally resting up.
They get a rest, but then they come back and the Niners just blow them out at home.
Yeah.
I think even worse than in San Fran. I think San Fran is just going to be on their playoff push. They're going to be Week 15. We're in this thing. We're in the playoffs. Let's get home field advantage for the rest of the playoffs. They're going to smoke them.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be cold as hell in Chicago, Week 16. They're going to get blown out.
Chicago sucks, but
like Pauly D's haircut. It's going to be a blowout.
Blowout, huh?
It's going to be a blowout. Week 17, blowout again. Week 18, at home against Seattle. Seattle wins. Not a blowout.
Not a blowout. Yeah.
So according to our schedule right now, they're going to win 2 games. It gets worse and worse for them.
My goodness.
They're going to win at Houston, and then they're going to beat the Rams here.
I don't know if I was clear with my logic about why I'm betting against the Cardinals each game. One, I'm a horrible gambler, so I lose every time. So it's a win-win situation. If I put in $50 and the Cardinals win, it's worth $50 for me. If the Cardinals lose, well, I probably won, $1 for my $50 bet, right? It's not going to be much because everyone's going to expect them to lose. So that's how I'm playing this out. Geez, I don't know.
Do you do pick'ems? Those when people say, "Hey, you pick the winners."
Oh, of each game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I forget, but yeah.
I'm gonna sign up with a buddy of mine that lives in Texas. If you want to do it too, see where we are on that.
Sure. Send me
We'll
up
do
for
it
that. The
a
pick'ems.
weekly thing.
I think I just got a notification on my emails about signing up for the pick'ems.
Oh, it's my buddy's league, so let's do it through him so we can.
Is it like a money thing you put
Yeah, it's
in?
a money thing.
Sure, I'll do
It's
it.
like $1,000.
Is it point spread or just pick who you think is going to win?
Just who? It's not $1,000. It's $100. Anyways, 129, I think exactly. It's who's gonna win, and then the last game is by points. Like who do you think's gonna win? Tiebreakers the points, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Monday night points.
But there's no point spread, right?
No, I want to do the Survivor ones. Have you heard of those?
No, what's that?
Every week you pick a winner. If you win the following week, you stay alive, but you can only pick that team once. So you pick the Chiefs to beat so and so because you know they're gonna win. You can't pick Kansas City for the rest of the year for your Survivor.
Ooh.
That sounds awesome. I gotta get more information on that. I think that'd be something we could look into. And then, well, we have our fantasy draft with our buddies Sunday. This Sunday.
Yeah, I got one with another with my buddies on the 3rd. What is that? Saturday or something like that, or 2nd? I don't remember.
Do you have one on Saturday? So you gonna be drafting at the hotel
Yeah, or on my cell phone.
on your cell phone? That's gonna be
I'll
interesting.
probably have to bring my computer because I have a list of like players.
What time's the draft at?
I don't remember. I have to talk to them again.
Hey, we'll figure it out.
So the one with the one you were talking about that you pick teams who's going to win is it based on a spread?
Points, yeah, it's a spread points system.
Sometimes I like it when it's just no point spread system.
Well, it's not point spread. It's like just head to head.
It's like a team's going to win by 6.5 points or
Oh
greater.
no,
or
it's
less.
not that. It's not by a point system like that. But that's just like regular betting, which I like that too. But
Mhm.
it's like you pick Kansas City and say they lose, you're out. You're done. You lose. You're done for the year. It's whoever goes longest with in the Survivor.
Well, not the Survivor one. The other one you were talking
Oh,
about.
ours isn't by points. It's not by 6.5 or whatever.
Like those point spreads for the gambling
No,
one?
it's just
pick who you think is
pick 'em.
going to win.
It's just a
That's
regular
it.
pick 'em.
Okay, I like that. Like regular pick 'em.
Yep.
I like those better,
Yep.
honestly.
Those are
Because
pretty.
the point spread one's like the team you bet to win, they did win, but not enough points for you to win your bet.
Correct.
I hate that so much.
So we're on the same page about the Cardinals. They're gonna suck. Go to the team. I want to see who the receivers are.
I don't think the website says who is
Oh, go to depth chart. Go to depth chart.
who is starting or whatnot.
Yeah, there you go. They're starting first.
Okay, and let me pull up the screen for people to see. I'm gonna have to zoom.
Go and then go to the receivers. Go down.
Here's the wide receivers right here.
Oh, there they are. Oh, it's up. Okay, yeah.
So
Should be more than that. There's more. Go down. Watch. See, there's more right there. Rondell Moore, Zach Pascal.
oh, because okay,
That's
for
how
one
they
posi-
line up on the. That's how they line
the
up.
lineup. Okay, Rondell Moore, Zach Pascal. Okay, I was wondering. I was like,
Who's on
something's
top?
really
Brown? Was it Brown? Hollywood Brown? Yeah, Hollywood Brown.
Hollywood Brown's up top.
Okay. And then you got Rondell Moore and Zach
Michael
Pascal.
Wilson's supposed to be
Yeah, he's
the top wide receiver for the team eventually.
fake news. Anyways, running backs. James Conner's still good. I think he's a stud, but
Okay, look at this. Kyle Murray, Colt McCoy,
Clay
Clay
Tune. That's who I
Tune,
was thinking about.
David
Clay
Blau. A lot of people are calling for David Blau.
Tune. Driscoll's never gonna.
Driscoll.
He's getting cut. David Blau might get cut. He has
Yeah.
to. If it's gonna be Colton McCoy, Tune, and the guy that they just got from Cleveland or whatever.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Colt McCoy gets cut.
I wouldn't be surprised either. If they're thinking this is a lost year, why are we going to pay Colton McCoy?
Look at his performance from last year.
Not he's a
Right?
backup.
I know
dude.
he's a backup, but like at least get the ball moving. Or
They
just,
can't get the ball moving. This team is doomed.
I mean, that's why they got Kyler Murray because the offensive line falls apart so fast he can run for his life. They need people
Yeah.
who can run for their lives as a quarterback.
Kyler was good for that. That's again. I don't want to talk trash on Kyler. He had some good moments, you know. I just think they didn't have the right pieces for Kyler. And I'll be honest, like I think they could have had a better.
I know people are calling for David Blau, but keep in mind that like his good plays in the preseason are with third stringers. Okay, push him. It's too late now. I was
Dude,
gonna say push
you
him up
could
with the
do
second
that
stringers.
against third stringers.
My
You
fat ass.
could do that. Like, it's just remarkable when people like say, Dave Blau did so awesome. Dude, he's playing against these third string cornerbacks that are going back to the grocery store after this game. You're going to see him at Albertsons in the checkout. They're going to be like, how was your day today? Better than yours. And you're not playing anymore. You know, like, it just sucks that that's the reality, but it is what it is. But I don't have anything else for the NFL. What else do you have?
For the NFL wise,
Yeah.
I think that's about it. I can't think of anything. I mean, we're here in Arizona. That's why we're talking about the Cardinals the most.
Because Danny's a Cardinals fan.
Yeah,
You and your girlfriend are Cardinals fans, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
sucks.
she's crazy about sports. She's yelling
What?
at the TV.
Oh,
and whatnot.
I thought you said she's crazy. I was like, what? No, tell me
That too.
more. No, she's a sweetheart.
She watches a lot of crime TV.
Yeah.
So yeah, only crazy women
What's
watch
cool because she watches Cardinals and Suns. So, dude, right there, you're watching sports.
Okay, speaking of sports, we were watching the NASCAR race last night, and she is just going off at the TV. I almost wanted to
Okay,
record her on
that I
TV.
don't understand. I don't understand NASCAR fans.
Actually,
so
I
crazy.
was. She was explaining it, so it was easier for me to follow up of what's going on with NASCAR. So the education helped me understand it. Because for me, it's like left turns all day. You just have to see the plays going on with the driving skills, and because there was 2 crashes, so that was interesting.
Yeah. Do you ever watch F1 racing, Formula One?
No, but
That's
I wouldn't
pretty legit.
mind.
That's pretty legit.
I wouldn't
like
mind.
F1's pretty legit, dude. It's
faster, huh?
and there's left and right turns. But
Dude,
dude,
and right turn.
they're so fast, and those crashes are just like, is that dude's dead? Like, there's some hideous crashes, but dude, they make those things like the little cockpits like super sturdy. So if they're airborne, they're not gonna crash into itself, and they're in that seat. They're pretty well isolated. But dude, F1's dope, man. It's a different level. What else is there?
Well, I just want to show you.
What's the
crash.
truck one? The truck.
So my girlfriend was explaining to me that there's like, think of like 3 divisions. There's the truck, and you move up into the Xfinity, and then you move up to the Cup Series. So the Cup Series is like the top professional. Then it's like,
The truck ones are kind of cool to see.
and they have right now. My girlfriend was telling me that's probably where the most active female drivers are at right now.
Yeah.
I think there's 1 or 2 in the Xfinity, but none right now in the Cup Series.
I have a buddy that his daughter is like she's 14 doing like kart racing all over the world right now. Like they were just in Toronto or in Canada, and she's gotten really good. I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't be surprised if we see her like in NASCAR or some kind of like F1 racing or something. Because those little carts, like the little go-karts that they have, dude, those things go fast and they have crashes. Like it's pretty
They
crazy.
all have crashes. This is the one. I'm gonna pull it up
What are
here.
you watching on this?
NASCAR. I'm gonna blow it up a little bit.
Oh, there's a crash?
There was 2 of them. I wonder if they'll show both of them in this clip.
Right.
The 20 car on the outside, Rick. Yeah, the back.
There it is.
Oh, big
Oh,
roll hard
dude.
goes Ryan Blaney.
Now all these cars
off
are
the nose of Ty Gibbs.
screwed.
And the big one happens
Screwed.
behind him.
You know how crappy that would be? So now those cars up front, they're in the race.
all these cars.
Oh,
Good race cars. Big
who fights
impact.
who?
Yeah,
Like
only 6 cars have gone through already.
only 6 cars.
Look at
Bro,
how
look at
many
that.
cars involved.
Oh, sorry. Let's see how it starts.
See, look, he barely pushes them, but a little bit too much on the left because you can push the driver in front of you, like, but it has to be like dead center. But because he hit him a little bit to the left, it spiraled the car too loose.
So what happens if you get docked points or?
I don't know how much in trouble they get, but
Well, he's gonna get punched in the face by the guy he hit, and all the cars
well, the thing
behind
is,
him.
like, the reason why they're lined up so close is that there's a momentum that the entire pack moves faster. So if you're like the solo driver, you see how fast they fall back. So there's a lot of draft that's
Yeah.
involved. But look at this.
Bad pushes start so many
Bad
of these
push
wrecks
right there.
right
So
there.
little.
I'll be honest.
Going
I was watching that
190
54.
miles per hour.
He had
Dude,
a
oh,
little
dude,
bit
look at
of
those cars that
wiggle
get lucky to
before
get
the
through.
push. If we slow it down,
Chase Elliott
I
right
saw
there.
that car just
Just
wiggle
got through
just
just
a
fine.
little bit before.
Let's see, he hit him right there.
It's hard to tell right there that there's like a little bit of a kind of a
That's
move.
the
Look at that.
Master
You
car.
don't have any control. Like, you're just
Dude,
chilling,
number
and then
12
all of a
was
sudden,
just chilling.
you
He's
just
just,
crash into
yeah,
a wall.
he's pissed.
Blaney's out of
Right
his car.
into the wall.
He's like,
Which it
damn
was
it.
a
So are they done for the race?
Oh, yeah.
So he can't get in the new car and just start
No.
going? Go. I'd be pissed.
There's one more. Let me see if I can pull it up because that was.
NASCAR. It's such
I
a
know.
hillbilly sport. You guys drink Bud Light when you're watching this?
No. I was drinking Oktoberfest. Let me see. Okay, it was this one.
Does anyone drink Bud Light anymore?
What's up?
Does anyone else drink Bud Light?
I don't know. I mean, that really
They
stuck,
lost,
huh?
dude. They lost so much on that.
That really stuck, the not drinking Bud Light.
It's so crazy.
Here's this other one.
Right? See this other.
Have separated
crash?
themselves. A big push coming now for Harvick.
Oh,
And around goes a couple cars. Priest upside down. He's barrel rolling through the grass. Ryan Priest upside down in the infield.
And on fire.
Going down the back straightaway, he makes a move
Look at
or
that.
gets help from behind.
Look at that air
The
time.
car goes into the infield
Like a
air.
toy.
It just lifts
Look
right
at
up
that.
off
And
the
it's
ground.
on fire.
There's
It's
a
on
human
fire.
being in there.
Violent wreck.
One more view on that.
It's a push from the 43 car, and it's airborne.
So
I thought that maybe it hit,
Did he get pushed?
the road course or
Let's see it
something
again.
or something on the
Because I
on
think
the
the
road
other
course.
driver.
Kink lifted that car, but it was just traveling so fast.
That's Ryan standing there in the middle of the AMR
He got out,
safety
but,
team. Push coming now.
Turn off the volume. Where's the. Like, you see it down there. I don't know if the car behind him pushed him a little bit that caused him to go that way. Because you're going 190 miles per hour.
That's fast. That's too fast.
So a slight turn will.
A slight
you
hit,
can
yeah,
easily
yeah.
lose control.
Yeah.
And a slight hit. And they're talking. My girlfriend was telling me they want to get rid of the AstroTurf because that's what really causes those barrel rolls. Because as soon as he touches the grass, he's flying. Look at that. You know how scary that is?
Yeah.
In a car at that speed. But
No, thank you.
yeah, my girlfriend was yelling at the TV because her driver didn't win. Her
Did you want to talk about the WNBA? Just kidding.
Our team is not that good though.
I just
Phoenix Mercury's
no,
not that
they're,
great.
They're horrible, but
We could look at their stats and stuff.
no, we don't have to.
Well, speaking of stats,
They're bad. Oh no, we have to talk about the D-backs.
all right, let's talk about the Diamondbacks.
Dude, they're in the wild card.
Wild card, yes.
They're 1.5 games up on. Wait, what are they in the wild card?
Wild
Hit
card.
the wild card, yeah.
Ooh, card says.
They're half a game up on the Reds, and they're playing Cincinnati today in here. So they can, if they win, they'll be 1.5 games above. But you also have go down a little bit, see who else is underneath them. Miami and San Fran. And San Diego's out of it. 7.5 games too far out. So it's gonna be Miami, San Fran, Cincinnati fighting the D-backs and the Cubs, because the Philadelphia is 4 up. They're gonna get that first wild card, but the second two wild cards are gonna be too close to call right now, because the Cubs can lose a series and they're out. San Fran's only 1.5 games out. Miami's only 2.5 out. So there's 2 spots up for grabs right now. But look at the point difference between Philadelphia Cubs and the rest of the teams trying to get in. Miami's -48, and they might get into the playoffs. That's crazy. They're in the red. The Diamondbacks are -6. They can get in the positive, but look at the Cubs. They're positive 79. That's pretty big. If history's ever taught us anything, is just get into the playoffs. The Washington Nationals won as a wild card team. They won the World Series as a wild card team. I think it was the first World Series ever that it went 7 games and the away team won every game. Freaking amazing. Amazing. The Nationals won the first 2 games. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, we're going to win at home. We're up 2-0 against Houston. Next 3 games, Houston wins the next 3 games. And everyone in Houston's like, oh, cool. We're up 3-2. We have 2 games at home. We're going to win. And then Nationals somehow, they won. So just get into the playoffs. That's it for baseball. But we'll see what happens. I think the Diamondbacks can do it. So
How many more games are left in the season?
September. This is it. We're in the last month. We probably
It's really about beating
we have
Cincinnati.
about 30 games left. Right around 30 games.
Around 30 games left?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a lot of games.
It's a lot. That's why. But that's why the 2.5 games out, you're still in it.
Mm-hmm.
30 games left. You still have a lot of baseball to play. Oh, I'm wearing a Diamondbacks hat too today. Oh, go
There you
figure.
go.
But no, it'll be interesting. Like I said, just get in the playoffs, and then we'll see what happens from there.
What's their winning streak been like lately?
Well,
they lost one.
They're 8-2 in the last 10 games. That's pretty good.
Oh, last 2 games?
Yeah, last 10 games, 8-2.
Last 10 games?
See,
Okay.
look at Miami and San Fran. They're 3-7. Cincinnati 6-4. That's why the Diamondbacks were able to climb back in. They're live right now against Cincinnati. Go to scoreboard, see what the score is. Scores. Let's see. They're tied 2-2 in the bottom of the 7th. Bottom of the 7th. Wow.
Might have to hear about this soon. All right.
So, well, your Braves are playing the Giants in San Fran. The Braves have the best team. They're so good. And they got all these players locked up for like the next 6 years cheap. They're so good. They have a pitcher on that team named Spencer Strider who's just sick. Sick. The dude throws heat, man. He's so young. That team's gonna be so good for the next decade. It's so crazy. Good for them. What else we got? Sports wise, anything else happening in sports besides baseball, football,
And NASCAR?
and now NASCAR? It's not gonna be a weekly thing with NASCAR. Not.
What? That was the
I
last
will
of the season. It's the
veto.
playoffs now for NASCAR.
They have playoffs? Like, that's weird. That's weird. We're driving to Vegas next week. We can talk about NASCAR for like 5 minutes, so we can add that into the conversation. Get into F1 racing. That's pretty legit.
Oh, no, I'd like to.
Dude, F1 is legit cool.
I'll bring my girlfriend with me because she's on top of racing. She loves racing.
Ask her about F1.
Bicycle racing,
Yeah.
like the whole Tour de France.
Dude, I'm telling you, my buddy's daughter that does kart racing, I want to go watch her one of these races. That's just so cool to me. Like, I had a go-kart when I was a kid. I used to love that thing. And to see, people doing kart racing like that, dude, I'll go watch. That'd be kind of cool. Go support.
That would be cool. I would recommend checking out a NASCAR race live when they come here to Phoenix.
I'll pass.
You should, because I've been to one live. They're actually
I
really
went
fun.
to a race with Leo, my cousin Leo, and his kids, and it was loud, dude. It was
Super loud. You
so
got to bring
loud.
your earbuds.
Dude, you have to bring earbuds and the things on your ears like this. It's like so bad, dude. It's like, I remember I took Tristan. He was so pissed. I was like, yeah, I know. It sucks.
That's it. You got. If you really hate EV cars, that's where you want to be at.
Yeah.
Makes you feel good. Like,
Well, I
gas
don't-
combustion engines.
I don't like EV cars, so I'm not against them. I just don't believe in them, man. So you're out in the cold and your EV dies on you because it doesn't have enough charge. Like, how are you going to get out of that situation? You need to have. I'm cool with electric and what is it, hybrid?
Hybrid.
Have electric and gas. I would love to have gas as a backup. I'll do the electric all day, but if I need the gas for an extra push or something, let me have that option.
Yeah.
I did see the Prius. The new Prius kind of looked legit. I still wouldn't buy one, but I'm leaning more towards a 4Runner than a Prius.
Well, I would say if it's your daily commute to work or something,
Prius.
a Prius. Because that range, that 600-mile plus range on a full tank of gas, which is like 13 gallons, by the way, that saves you so much money.
That's a lot.
I
I have a Civic. I love that Honda Civic. It's so legit.
I love a truck, don't get me wrong, but when you fill up the tank, you feel it at the gas pump, especially with gas prices today.
Trucks are such gas guzzlers, dude.
The gas, I love trucks. So we've had this conversation. I love trucks, but I want to use them for the practical reasons, not as a daily commuter.
But you get truck, and then like when I had a Yukon, I lifted it, got bigger tires, and it went from 15 miles a gallon to 8. I was like, what the hell? And I didn't know this until after I did the lift kit, after I got the oversized tires. I noticed that my gas sucked. And my cousin was like, yeah, dude, you did a 6-inch lift and you did oversized tires. Like, what'd you think was going to
Those
happen? I
tires
was
are really
like,
heavy.
I don't know. Now I know. It's like, I can't drive this anywhere. California, when we drove, it was like every other gas station we had to stop and put gas. It was expensive. Good thing is, gas was only like $2 at the time. I couldn't imagine driving that thing in Cali right now at like $6 a tank. No thanks.
No, not as a daily commute. Not for me.
No.
I know there's people who love their trucks enough for a daily commute and waste all that money.
It's because it's your only car. It's your only car. That's why it's your
If
daily
it's your only
commute.
car, sure. I mean, if you're willing to spend that money for the gas and whatnot, have at it. But I'd rather just have it as my second car. Have it there for needs I really need.
Well,
or weekends,
I
you
love
know?
my SUV, but I can't drive it every day because like my wife works from home. I work at the office, and even though I'm more comfortable driving the SUV, it's for me it's a better ride for me. It's just realistically gas wise is not. Like I'm sorry, but the car gets so much better
But at
gas.
the same time, if you were to get in an accident, would you want to get in an accident in a truck or a
truck.
sedan, right?
If
That's the
someone
thing.
hits me, I'd rather be in the truck.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're in a small car, especially if you get hit by a big car, you're smashed.
Mm-hmm.
If I get hit by like one of these little dinky Fiats, I'm like, no big deal. But if you're getting hit by a Hummer and you're in a small car, no thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Kia Soul or something, you're like,
They're gonna mess you up.
yeah, it's gonna get messed up big time. But yeah, I think we're done with sports for now. Nothing else happened. Can't talk WNBA because the Mercury suck right now. Let's see.
I mean, we got a guest coming on,
Yeah, we have a guest coming on pretty soon, so we don't have that
so
much
we
time.
might as well just prepare for that, and we'll just edit this in and just add the guest in.
Yep, we'll just go ahead and do that. Anything else going on? Oh yeah, we won't be here next week. We'll be in Vegas.
And the week after that, I have to go to Atlanta, so there's gonna be 2 weekends of
2
no
weekends, and
podcast.
then we'll film. But then the week after that, you're in Bali.
Oh yeah, huh? Oh, at the end of the month,
Yeah, so we might only have 1 or 2 shows,
there might be one show in September.
which is fine. We'll just I'm gonna have to just find a way to do reels, like daily reels or something. So maybe I'll be up for the challenge just to keep people going on what's going on with us. But hey, we're gonna come at Jimmy. I'm gonna come at him pretty strong. He has a lot of conspiracy theories. I want to talk about Hawaii. I don't know. You're not cut up. I've been going through some deep rabbit holes on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram from people from Hawaiians that are there, and I want to go into it. But the thing is, too, there's a lot of fake misinformation.
I
Right.
know it's unraveling that, right?
And I try to when I get this, I'm like, oh my god, this is what's going on, and then I do my own research, take the time, and find out it's not real.
I hate that. Yeah, I know. Some information looks too juicy, and you're just like, is this really
it's
true?
juicy, like this can't be true. This would start a war, and then you're like, oh, it's not real. So you gotta be very careful what you see before you tell other people what's going on. But I love talking to Jimmy. He's a real dude. His experiences are real, and mainly aliens and stuff like that. But I want to hit him up with that. Maybe go political too, and ask him, what do you think, who's gonna win this and that. And if you ask me, RFK all the way. I'm an RFK fan right now, but he's not going to win, so it sucks.
We'll talk about that another time.
We'll talk about that in 2 weeks. But hey, RFK if he's on the ballot. All right.
All right.
That's it for me. And we'll see you next time. And we're back with Jimmy Orama, our main man when it comes to conspiracy. We have a ton of them. Jimmy, introduce yourself to the lovely people of the Just Luke Show.
Hello, my Just Luke family. How you doing, guys? Jimmy Orama, personal friend, professional friend of the show for like 10 years. I mean, I've known you for a minute, right? How long's it been?
2008, man. I think you were there when I had. Do you remember I had a panic attack and I thought I was having a heart attack?
Do you have more than one?
It feels like I should have. I had one where I was like, I think I'm dying, and I was stressed out about something. And you came over and helped me. You're like, dude, I think you need to go to the doctor. I'm like, cool. So I took off and went to the doctor. They just said it was a panic attack. But I mean, we're doing mortgages. It's 2009, right around there. And
yeah, right after the crash. It was before and during and after the crash.
Correct.
So yeah, that was a tough time. I think you and everybody else was going through a lot. Never mind, our employer, which synonymous with Satan at that time. So it was different. It was a lot of pressure for us, for everybody. But yeah, that was friend of the show, and I was really happy to see you got your own show going. I was thinking along the same lines, but when I saw yours, I was really happy and kind of looking forward to your success and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm just the kind of guy who likes to read a lot of different things and kind of follow the more unexplored paths, if you will. And that's kind of, I just have my own personal opinion. on a lot of things that are going on, and I don't mind sharing different perspectives and entertaining other perspectives as well. I mean, no one's got all the answers. You know, it seems like we all have little pieces of the pie, trying to make sense of everything. But yeah, it's kind of where I'm at.
Well, I wanted to start this week's talk with you. A lot. I've been doing, I get in this funk where I'm on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, and I start getting in a rabbit hole, right? And I'm really concerned about like what's really going on in Hawaii, just because that's somewhere where me and my wife got married in Lahaina, and we went to Front Street after and had, it's a beautiful place. My brother was there when I got married, in Hawaii, and just to see the devastation that's gone on, it's just so sad. But
yeah, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And
there's not that much in the media about it, like regular media, right? So I'm on Twitter watching, or Instagram or Facebook, watching people on the ground going through the wreckage, talking about what happened. First count is like, hey, I was here. This is what happened. There's footage of them on the other side of the wall getting away from the fire. And they're like, this is crazy. And the media is just like, hush, hush. And I wanted to get your perspective, what you think, because I tell you, man, I see all this stuff. I don't want to believe what I'm thinking in my head.
I think that's a big bust. I think there's a lot of people that are in the same boat. I actually, for the first time, got permanently banned from TikTok because I was reposting videos from locals. You know, there's a guy there, and I don't know his name, but he got a drone, and he just provided phenomenal footage from. You can literally see like carved out paths of the damage and the destruction. And so for me, when I saw it, it really wasn't a surprise to me because I was already familiar with the technology that allegedly was used. They talked about it back in 9/11, and I remember I knew back. So believe it or not, there's a dotted line to 9/11, and so I remember I had my theories about 9/11. My uncle had kind of opened up my eyes to the deep state, and he was mistaken in the sense that he would kind of include the entire government under this umbrella of nefarious pink. Let's just call them the deep state, Illuminati. Call them what you want. The bad people that don't like us, that don't love us. So he had made me aware of that, and he really helped me connect all the dots as to what's going on in the world and how we were related as far as a country. But then, so I kind of went down that rabbit hole, and then the further I went, I choose to believe, based on my understanding, that there's actually a big division within our government, within our political system, within the military. And so there's a thread of evil, if you will, that kind of makes its way through all these different organizations. And just to kind of give some backdrop as to what we're doing, and I should know his name, but there's a high-ranking general in the military who is a bona fide, self-admitted satanic priest. Satanism is an accepted religion in the military, in all law enforcement, for that matter. So we kind of have to set the ground level as to how can this happen within our own military. Well, to them, it's based on their belief system, they have a lot more, for lack of a better word, a wider range of what we wouldn't consider acceptable, where it's very acceptable to certain groups of people with certain what we would consider to be religious beliefs. So you have to understand that, first of all, when you go in there, there's a lot of division there. So I think that has a lot to do with it. So going back to 9/11, I remember reading that they were taken down by directed energy weapons, and that never really made sense to me. So I don't have all the pieces together, but I know for sure the official story of 9/11 wasn't official, because there was a lot of debris. When you look at the rubble, it's almost like if it just kind of disappeared. When you look at those piles, you look at how big that building was, it almost doesn't add up. So what happened to all of that? Was it pulverized? Was it disintegrated? I mean, this is 20 years ago, over 20 years ago.
Yeah, 20 plus.
Yeah. So imagine, they've had this technology for a long time. So again, it kind of tied in. There was a dotted line with what happened in Hawaii, because also I saw what happened in Paradise, California. Kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I saw that in California too.
So yeah, I mean, rims being melted. I mean, I would see when Paradise happened, you would see these two houses literally disintegrated to the ground, and then there's a little rose bush or, a little plant right in between both of them. I'm not a botanist, and I'm not an engineer, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist to let you know that, hey, something doesn't make sense here. So that's kind of like, where that was my starting point, if you will, as to what happened in Hawaii. Now, I was kind of surprised that Hawaii got hit with that type of technology, but then as I started going down some more rabbit holes, there's ties to underground bases there. I think the people that I follow said Space Force has some facilities there. And if you're not familiar with Space Force, it's all related to the 20 and Back program, which is another rabbit hole. I don't know if you've heard of that or not. So
No, but it sounds
I've also
awesome.
heard that it was China getting back at us for, doing something to them. So, at the end of the day, there's a lot of rabbit holes you can choose to follow or go down. But at the end of the day, I absolutely 100% do not believe the official story. And I no. Forrest, no.
The official
no.
story is that this is just electrical issue, and because of the high winds of a nearby hurricane, the fire's exacerbated because of that. So the fire's
that's very convenient for lazy people. For lazy people, because the majority of people, are not going to put the time in to think critically. They're just not. They're going to say, well, that's what this person on this appliance told me to believe, and so that's what I'm going to believe. And that's as far as it's going to get. That's as far as it's going to get, because they can't wrap their heads around the evil that really lies in the world. So sometimes I'll talk to people, and I'll kind of try to gauge them out, feel where they are mentally, or just as far as perspective is concerned. And within a couple of seconds, this person watches TV all day, and they're not going to give this a second thought. I got people back east. I bring up Hawaii, and they're like, yeah, we heard there was a fire there, and blah, 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 blah. And they'll just move right on. Like, as simple as that, without understanding the magnitude of what happened. Like, we are literally under attack.
How do you think the fire started then? How do you think the fire started?
As far as how it started, I don't know how it started. I mean, obviously I wasn't there, but based on the damage that we see, there was definitely some type of directed energy type weapon. I don't know if it started that way, but there's a lot of things that just don't add up. The
melted car, the melted dogs.
They cut the power off. They cut the water off. They have the largest alarm, as I understand it, the largest alarm system like in the country. Who turned it off?
There's a reason, because they're in between us and China.
Hurricanes. I mean, there's a lot of things that can go on that requires.
And it didn't go off.
Did you read about also that that new chief of police? As I understand it, there were 3 or 4 total candidates for that position. 3 of which were local. They lived right there on the island. Seasoned cops, et cetera, et cetera. Would have been a walk in the park, but they brought this guy in
from Vegas.
The starting pay for that position is $150. I think they bumped him up to like a little bit over 200. They paid all of his medical, moving expenses, et cetera, et cetera. So basically, they gave him carte blanche. Whatever you want for your house in Vegas, we'll buy it out. Whatever you want to buy here, we'll buy it out. Just come over here. And so that's just highly suspicious. I mean, you're not going to tell me that's a coincidence. So I think, in my personal opinion, this police chief is a patsy for the deep state.
He's also the coroner.
He's also the coroner. That's very convenient. And so if you present someone with this much information and they still have any doubts, just move on. Just yes them to death, tell them have a nice day, and move on. Because if they don't see what's right in front of them, they're never going to get it. If they don't see it by now, they're not going to get it. They're not. Absolutely. They're just clueless. For example, go ahead. I'm sorry. I've been talking.
I totally think you're onto something, because, and I think you've been down the same rabbit hole, because I see you're wearing a blue shirt, right? And it's the same blue that these umbrellas and some of this other stuff didn't go up in flames, right? Or some of these houses that are painted blue didn't go down. Yeah. So it's convenient that you're wearing that same shade, but
I didn't even think about that, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a crazy, if that's real, where those blue cars didn't melt, those blue umbrellas weren't touched, there's something there,
what
right?
Umbrellas?
It's once again, if that doesn't convince you, then you really, and not you personally, not you two here, but anybody, I'll say this to anybody, if you can't put those two things together, then you're part of the wrong conversation. You need to be around more people who think like you. And that way you can all kind of stay in that same place and just, entertain each other. But
I
if
know
you
the guy that you're talking about with the drones his video's been getting taken down a lot.
Yeah.
And I've seen them because my brother asked about the blue umbrellas. He had a video of one of the drones, and everything that was blue wasn't burnt or touched.
Yeah.
And did you see that video, Jimmy?
Absolutely. Well, did you see that test they did with all those washcloths that person did?
Oh yeah, and t-shirts too at the t-shirt stand. Yeah. All the blue shirts weren't melted.
I mean, what else do you need? Like if you have to break that down to someone, with all due respect, they don't have the mental capacity to be part of that conversation. They just don't.
No, I got you. I saw that dude's video when he had the drone and he flew it right over the umbrellas. Like, what is going on with these Tommy Bahama umbrellas that everything else is burnt? Why is all this stuff melted except these blue pots?
Yeah. This trick cars. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. So, back to as far as who and why and how, that's unknown. But I have been hearing that there are already investors calling these people, wanting to buy them out and make cash offers, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, that's pretty quick. I mean, they were pretty quick to jump on that, and then when you consider the other emergencies and disasters that we've been faced with and the lack of response, I mean, come on, people, Hawaii is an expensive, expensive place to live. Those people pay their fair share, and I don't think they're getting the representation or guidance or support that they deserve.
No, not at all.
Yeah. And they're being marginalized. But, I think the problem, like always, and this is my personal 2 cents, is that people just don't like to get together and organize and this and that. And, people just really need to peel back the layers of the onion and face ugly realities. That there is a group of people, of individuals in this world that are very powerful, and they hate the rest of us. They literally hate the rest of us. And, if they could kill us all tomorrow, they would. And that's hard for a lot of people to understand. But, I'm okay with that. I've seen it enough where, because once again, and I think we talked about this in the last time, when you look at the world from a new point of view, you're going to understand that we live in a world of abundance. Do you feel like we're living in abundance now? I mean, I live in downtown Phoenix. I see homeless people all the time. And I'm like, this is by design. I don't care. This is my personal opinion, and I am 100% convinced that things are the way they are by design. And you've been in the mortgage industry, you'll understand this. And I'm just going to come out and say it. I've been in the mortgage business 23 years. I don't care what you say. The amount of mortgages that I have done for the African American community, I'm not even kidding. In 20 years, I would say it's less than 10, maybe 15 mortgages that I've done for let's round it up and do 20. In 20 years, I've done less than 20.
Wait.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that you said that, because my brain just went off and I'm thinking, holy shit, I have not had that many. I have not helped.
No.
At Wells Fargo and Chase, the call centers where you're getting tons of calls.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some, but they were denied, right?
Yeah.
But start to finish, go through. Holy cow, man.
If it's over the phone,
it's true, bro. I'm telling you. It's true. And then,
driver's license.
It's convenient and very dismissive to say, oh, well, blah, 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 blah. For whatever reason you're going to have. I don't want to go down this road, but I don't have to prove what I just said. Ask any African American. Ask them. And so when you see all these things, you're not going to tell me, man. And then when I go to the bank, for example, I have similar situations as some of my clients. When I go to the bank, I always get resolution. They don't have the same type of success. I do believe that on a bigger level, on a bigger scale, somehow, somewhere, they are marginalized. The point being that because maybe they don't have the tools, or we haven't given them the tools to understand the system better, to better navigate. Look, I don't know what the answer is. I know there's a problem. I know there's a cancer, and that's all I know. What originated that cancer or what caused it, I don't know, but I know it's there. So, I don't want to get kind of off track with Hawaii here, but there are, forces in place that I think are really not to our benefit. Let's just leave it at that,
No, but you're talking about the abundance thing. Like, we
Oh
are.
yeah, I'm sorry. Back to that. Yeah, you're not gonna tell me, guy. Like, it's just people need to stop and think about that. People. We've been sold this idea of scarcity, and we have to do this and that. It's a crock of shit. It's all man-made lies, and this is my personal opinion, and I'm willing to be wrong. But the way I believe it is that this world was created for us, and it is a world of abundance, and it was created for us. And I think we've been kind of denied our inheritance. I think there's a group of people, the same ones we're talking about, that have kind of inserted themselves between our inheritance from God, and they're basically stealing. They're stealing everything.
100%. I agree with you, because I did see something from an Indian professor. I forgot what show it was talking about how we should all be rich. We have the means in this world for everyone to have an abundance of whatever they need, but a selected few, supposedly there's 13 families that run the world, are keeping everything for themselves. Case in point, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, super rich.
If I could chime in, I don't think it's that they're keeping it for themselves per se. I think they're just making sure we don't get access to it. So again, this is a sidebar, and I'll let your audience do their own research. I had read about this about a year and a half ago, and I didn't talk to anybody about it because most people just don't want to hear this kind of stuff. About a month ago, I heard this lady who used to work. She was a PhD, and I believe she worked for one of the three-letter agencies. But she came out and said exactly what I had read about a year and a half ago, and I'll share this with you, which kind of reinforces my point about abundance. She said that they had underneath the Vatican, there's a tunnel that went from the Vatican to Israel. And so about 1,500 miles. This tunnel was gigantic. And and your people should do their own research. When COVID started, what was the first country that got locked down?
Israel.
No, it's Italy. Italy
was the first one?
Don't hold me to it. Italy was on lockdown for like a month, is what I understand. I don't know if they were first or second, but they were definitely in the beginning. Italy got locked down. I'll be honest,
I just said Israel because Danny did, and I was just like,
I thought you were leading us to Israel.
Well, okay, so I remember that Italy was locked down for a whole month. I remember that. No big deal, and these are pieces of the puzzle that I eventually was able to put together. About a month ago, this lady came out and talked about this gold that they had taken from the Vatican. Now, let me pause. As I understand it, the people that were down there talked about they had found treasures of civilizations that had come and gone, and were not even in the history books. They had treasures of civilizations, and gold. They had to use 640 planes. 640 airplanes full of gold that they recovered. The dollar value of all this gold was $64 quadrillion, if such a number even exists. So again, this is a piece of the puzzle that we put together over about 2.5 years. What I'm telling you now, it didn't just come out in one time. These are pieces of the puzzle that I put together. So back to our point about being, abundance and scarcity. I mean, it's true, dude. This is a world of abundance, and this group of people have pretty much taken or plundered, stolen all of that for us. I mean, if you think about it, dude, gold is nothing but a piece of rock in the ground.
No, I know, and they can mine more.
Yeah, why is it a commodity then?
Yeah.
Well, because we've all collectively chosen that this is worth something.
It's scarce. We said it was scarce.
Well, yeah, Dave, just like
diamonds.
Yeah, scarcity. It's all lying. It's none of it's. We live in a world of abundance. We absolutely do. And there's more than enough for everybody. There's more than enough for everybody.
Where do you stand on climate change?
I do believe that the earth goes through its cycles. I do believe we could do a better job at just as a society. Do I blame me and you because I like to drive an SUV and you like to drive a Corvette? Absolutely not. I didn't make that SUV. You didn't make that Corvette. Why do I have to be responsible for this? I'm just a consumer. I'm just here to use this. If you're so concerned, then why don't you lean back on the people who made it? Make them responsible, cradle to grave, for this product. What about
Correct.
buildings, office buildings? Incredibly inefficient, incredibly dangerous to the environment. Aircraft carriers, all these big ships. Imagine, compare the toxins from an aircraft carrier compared to my SUV. Why don't they make these things so that they don't, cause this?
Or
cause these
even a
changes in
shipping
the environment?
boat that carries all those containers,
Yeah.
from China here. Those
Yeah.
let off a ton of emissions.
Big time, big
Like,
time.
what
But
is
yet
it?
they're gonna blame us. They're gonna blame us, and now you have to live in a smaller house. Now they're talking about that, like these little houses that are like 500 to 1,000 square feet.
I saw
And
that.
trying to make it
These
look
pricks.
cool and
So
awesome.
I
they
want
want
one.
us to live in there. While are they gonna give up their mansions? Are they gonna give up
No,
their private?
no,
Absolutely not.
no.
Yeah,
They're gonna have their big homes.
So back to your point, you got to remember climate change has been around for 30, 40 years. They haven't done shit. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. What have they done with all the money they've collected as a result? What has changed? Nothing. They're full of shit.
Oh, they
Same
pocketed
thing.
that money. You know that.
The point is that when you understand government and you understand positions like the Ways and Means Committee, these are departments created to figure out how to tax us more. It's the only reason they exist. The only reason that department exists is to find different ways to tax us.
Could it be just that we're limited to our technology? We can't go
I'm
beyond
sorry?
a ship. Isn't it because we're limited to our technology? Like for a ship,
How do you mean? How do you mean that?
like we don't have battery powered ships. We don't have zero
Come
emission
on, yeah,
ships.
man. Absolutely.
We just barely have a nuclear air carrier that just came out that can just float with energy nonstop for 30 plus years.
I
Wait,
believe
float
it.
for 30 years? That is
Hydrogen.
Yeah.
I gotta see
But,
Nuclear.
there's a good movie
Aircraft
out. It's
carrier.
called Chain Reaction with Keanu Reeves and Morgan Freeman. It's a good flick, but you should watch it. But bottom line is, they create this free. It's kind of like Atlas Shrugged. They create this device that will solve our energy dependency, if you will. But then when you got to consider the addiction on a global level that the world has to oil, petroleum, you can't just. It's literally going to topple economies, topple industries. You can't just turn it off. Is my understanding. I'm not an economist. I'm not I don't understand the bigger picture of those things. So I understand the current financial flows of capital, if you will, based on petroleum production and distribution. So there are things in place that kind of like you can't just throw a wrench in it. It's it's going to disrupt things. But I'm not going to sit here and believe for 1 second that we don't have a better answer. You're absolutely lying. So back to climate change, I think it's just another way to figure out how to tax and control us more. Yeah.
Why do they want you to have an EV so bad?
I'm sorry?
Why do they want you to have an EV so bad?
I don't know. I don't even know why they're pushing these things. I think it's
By 2030, you have to have a Tesla or what's the Prius?
I don't know.
Well, by 2030, was all electric.
All electric cars.
Well, it's funny. I was taking my car to get inspected, and the guy I was talking to, he said that California is jumping in with both feet for this movement. And we pretty much the rest of the country may follow that. They're gonna allegedly by 2035, they're gonna make it so expensive and hard for you to renew registration on a regular car that you're just gonna better to go electric, provided they can provide the infrastructures and this and that. Now that's always gonna be. They're always gonna do what they're gonna do, but people have to remember and keep in mind that there's always a way. There's always a way around it. There's always going to be a way around what they're trying to do. And they're not going to make that alternate easy or convenient for you. I'll tell you that right now. But they're going to push this one solution as much as they can, but there's always a plan B. And don't ever believe that.
Is that one solution by government, or is it by a private corporation, or is it both pushing this?
Whoever can sell it, man. I think whoever can sell it.
Well, I mean, in a capitalist society, you'd hope that someone else would come up with a bigger, better idea that can sell.
That's kind of out of my pay grade, to tell you the truth. I mean, I don't know, but back to the whole climate thing, because it just so I can kind of stay on track. I don't really believe that it's called. I'm not going to feel bad. I'm not going to go out and buy a Prius just so I can quote unquote do my part. That's such a self-righteous kind of douchey thing to do. Look at me, I'm doing my part, I'm saving the world. Shut the fuck up. It's so people are so full of shit. They're so full of shit like that. Oh, I'm gonna go do groceries. I'm gonna bring my own bag. Look, I get it. Yeah, but go home and give yourself a cookie. You're not changing shit, you moron. And people just feel good about that. So
They're not.
stupid.
Because the whole private jet thing, like those things are worse than regular planes.
Yeah.
But people will still fly. You won't see Taylor Swift flying commercial,
Dude, if I had a private a private jet, I'd fly private every freaking where. Really? Just plant some more trees, problem solved. Really? Come on, it's not that serious, man. It's not that serious. Or make a better engine. Make an engine that I can drive and use that, but don't force me to do it. Just make a better gas engine.
Yeah.
How's that?
I mean, that's why I go back that we're limited to our technology. If we could make that better engine, we would. But we haven't innovated that.
I think they'd have. It's just they don't want.
Well, who's they and why
Well,
would they?
because they're pushing the green thing and they don't want to know that someone came up with a better engine, because that would derail their whole plan of having electric vehicles and what they're doing. They don't want people to come up with that solution because they're gung-ho. Like the Democrats are gung-ho on the EV thing. So they're pushing that. They're pushing climate change. That whoever that old senator is that's pushing climate change. I think
Actually, it's both Republicans and Democrats who are pushing climate change. I don't think it's one party. It's both of them.
Well, they are too, but I feel like the Democrats are more on it, right?
I don't know. I mean, I just recently watched the debates, and only one said climate change is not a big deal. The rest were saying climate change is a deal. That's why I encourage you to watch it.
He said debates, buddy. So Danny wants to go politics. So let's just go there. Go ahead. Who's that one guy that said climate change is a hoax?
I can't say his name.
I can't either.
Hold on.
The one thing I didn't really care about.
Ramansui. Oh.
Wow, Danny, he's just horrible. Anyways,
the Indian guy.
the Indian billionaire.
Oh yeah.
He was talking. The only thing I didn't like about him is he came out with the same speech Obama did. Like, oh, you're probably wondering who this skinny brown guy is with a funny last name. Like, that's exactly what Obama said, when he did his debate. So, but besides that, I kind of have a theory on him, though. I told my wife, I don't know if I told you, Danny, I think he might be put in there by the left to disrupt the right, and that he's a puppet. He came through on a Soros fund in school, and he's, but then again, I go with the left and right, they're at the same parties. They're at the same.
Absolutely, 100%. There's no such thing as left and right. People need to stop that. People need to really understand there's no such thing as left and right. And that's what gets me. People don't understand that. People need to remember, these guys agree on about 90% of everything. And we're only seeing the 10% they don't agree upon. And that's it. And it's just a show. It's just a show. I don't believe these guys in any way, shape, or form. Because everyone's got to get paid. Everyone's got to get paid. And if they're disagreeing on something, it's because someone's not getting paid. But as soon as someone starts getting paid, guess what? We were able to come to an agreement, blah, 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 blah. It is never, ever, ever about what's best for the American people. And I will, until the day I die, I will have zero faith in the system. And listen, since we're talking about politics, this is a can of worms if you guys are really ready for this. All right.
10 minutes. Let's go.
Okay, so I'm going to plant some seeds. You guys got to do your own research. Look at. There's a book out called The Secret Destiny of America by Manly P. Hall. The Secret Destiny of America. So write that down, look that up. Look up and understand the Washington Monument, for example, which is considered to be, blah, blah, blah. Do you know, I don't know if we talked about this the last time. Did we talk about this the last time?
No, we didn't talk politics.
Okay. So if somebody wants to make mental notes. So do some math here. When you look at the Washington Monument, its height is 555 feet. Okay.
I've heard this. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Danny has it.
And how long does it? And then if you go underground, it's 111 feet underground. Now, I'm not a mathematician, but if you add those two numbers up, you're going to get a certain number. So then that's that, right? So then when you look at also in the Washington Monument, a lot of people don't know this. If you look at not too far, there is another obelisk that's buried underground, not too far from the Washington Monument, maybe 20, 30 feet. Did you know about this?
No.
Okay, fact check me. As I understand it, there's maybe only one, maybe two pictures that show this. And this is all symbolic in the sense that, it's as I understand it, it's an obelisk that's buried underground 12 feet. And the 12 represents something. Do your own research. So I challenge people to look at that. Also consider, when you look at Washington, D.C., we're supposed to be a Christian-based nation, et cetera, et cetera. Do you see more Christian references or more Egyptian references? I don't know. Answer that question when you get a chance.
Yeah.
And then when you think about it, well, wait a second. Yeah. So then you got to go back and look at all Egyptian history and where did that originate from? And then you got to understand freedom of religion. What was the real meaning behind that? Is that so that they can practice their own religion that maybe they never even talked about? Religion in the behind the scenes type religion. Is that a possibility? I don't know.
Is it like freedom of religion, practice the Christian religion while we practice the religion that controls all?
I think that's an individual thing that people need to kind of answer on their own. Also, going back to the obelisk, what's a common thing that you see all over the world is pyramids and obelisks. Well, why is that? To do some research there. And then, the energy and all that stuff. It's a deep rabbit hole, folks. People really aren't ready for this. But based on my beliefs and where I am right now in life, I believe that it's the battle between good and evil is very obvious. When you start to look at DC a little bit differently, you're going to understand, you're going to understand. A lot of people don't subscribe to this point of view. They're atheists, blah, blah, blah. And I get that. This is my own personal 2 cents, but yeah. That's
There's a lot of atheists. Like I remember growing up, I maybe because I was naive and I was a kid, we grew up in a Catholic church. We used to go to St. Tim's back in the day. And I've only knew a couple people that didn't believe in God. But now that I'm older, I want to say it's almost 50% that don't believe in God. It could be even higher.
Really?
There's a lot of people that
There's
don't
a
believe.
lot of people I know who.
If you step out of your circle of friends and family, in a business setting, in a work setting, I know a couple mortgage brokers that own their own branches. I don't want to say their names, but I have great conversations with them. They don't believe in God, right? They don't believe.
That's okay.
I don't want to say atheists like they believe in Satan. They just don't believe that there is a higher power.
They just don't believe in anything.
Yeah.
They don't believe that there's a Satan. They don't believe there's a God. They don't believe in any of that.
Which is fine.
They believe it's all under control, right? They're
But let me
scared
back up,
of
though.
Satan stuff. They're supposed to scare you with the God stuff because you're supposed to be in awe of God, which means fearful of God. Just like you read in the scriptures of it. But it's all like meant to scare you. Like there's a boogeyman, there's a Santa Claus. Be good, you'll get your presents. If not, the boogeyman's going to get you. It's just stories.
No. That's all been perverted. All the holidays, the gifts. It's all paganism bullshit. It's all. Here's the problem. The message that Jesus brought to the world has been perverted and hijacked. So let me tell you right now, and I've had, and I'll say this in front of everyone, I've had many personal encounters with the Lord. And let me tell you, the last thing he is critical or judgmental or this or that. It's nothing but pure, unadulterated love. It is a love that you can't even begin to understand. You can't even put into words because there are not words in this realm of existence that can describe the love and the power of the Supreme Being. And I can say that until the day I die because I felt it more than once. And I have been in the presence of the Lord. And it is a love so overwhelming, so powerful that it'll change your life forever. And you'll never really have to worry ever again about anything because it's that powerful.
I don't doubt that you experience that and that you believe that truly, but why should I believe you or others believe you?
You don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to. Because you know what? My journey is my journey and your journey is your journey. And so everyone's life is their own journey. And I choose to believe that on this journey, this is the path that I chose. And I feel that I have found my life's purpose, my life's calling. And that's it. It's complete. I don't have to look and search anywhere else. I am 100% completely fulfilled with my life because I have found my purpose through the Lord. Now, in my opinion, until that happens to you, you're kind of, you're just kind of walking around and hanging on and that. But every minute of my day, I know exactly why I'm here. Exactly. And anything outside of that, television, sports, TikTok, Instagram, anything else outside of that is distracting me from that mission. And that's okay because, it's not easy. You need a break. You need to get out there in the real world, so to speak. But this is my life. And now that I have found my journey, my calling, I'm 100 miles an hour in that direction. And there's nothing that can sway me. There's nothing.
When did that hit you? When did you have that moment that, not that you believe, but that this is my calling? When did it hit you that this is it?
It wasn't really a calling. It's like these events happen, and then you put all the pieces of the puzzle together, and then you realize this is how I was meant to serve, because I'm the only person that can do this. And then it's a real personal relationship, which is really funny. I'm telling you right now, I was the first one to call bullshit when people would say I have a personal relationship with the Lord. I said, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard, man. I'm not even kidding. Until it happened to me. And then I'm like, I get it. This is my job and my calling. And that's down the road because I'm still in the process of putting it together. But let me tell you, man, once you have that understanding, you'll never doubt or question anything in the world. The problems of the world are minuscule. These things in Hawaii, all these minuscule compared to the kingdom per se. Yeah. And I can say this with confidence. I'm a man who came home 6 years ago. My wife and I came home. We found our son dead in my house. Okay. My son was taken from us in my own house. They killed my son. And yet I stay here in front of you and I speak with this conviction and clarity that even what happened to him is like this compared to what is really compared to the bigger picture. So I think that's enough testimonial for anybody to, and my wife is the same way. Of course, you're still going to have those pains. Of course, that's not going to go away, but you just have a bigger understanding of things, that all the atrocities in the world are nothing compared to the glory of the Lord and what waits for us. I'm telling you right now, guys.
Jimmy, we got like hardly any time, so we're gonna wrap up our interview, part 1 with Jimmy. We're gonna come back with part 2 of Jimmy here shortly.
All
right. So we're back with Jimmy, part 2 of our conversation. We had to stretch it out because, man, we haven't even got into the good stuff yet. So we're talking about Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. I love it. I mentioned that, I feel like people in the office are more atheists. Like I heard a conversation of these, 4 girls in our break room talking about how religion is such a farce and this and that. And I wanted to interrupt, but I was like, it's not my place. I'm not going to Bible thump these ladies. They don't want to believe. They don't want to believe, right? Who am I to change their mind?
Sure. Yeah. No, I get it. What's that saying? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear per se. And, maybe they just haven't had, the right experiences, or they haven't needed them. Maybe they decided before they came into this incarnation, they didn't want to wake up. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons why people don't believe. And again, I'm one of them. I was late to the party until I was after 40, 45 years old. I would say after 50 is when I really, came when the relationship was really formed and bonded. So for me, it came late in life. So I get it. And I was very anti all this stuff, anti-religion. I was anti all of it. And because I saw what they were doing and how the message was perverted. But until I had that personal relationship with the Lord, I couldn't make sense of it. I couldn't understand what they had done to his message per se, and just a perfect example, so let's suppose if Jesus Christ were alive today, you think he'd be hanging out in the Vatican? I don't think
anyone would take him seriously in this day and age.
I'm sorry?
I don't think he'd be taken seriously at this day and age.
Well, I mean, I'm being facetious. I'm being, because it's one of those things that it's a knowing. There's no need to have to convince anybody of anything, because once it happens, there's no denying it. So it's kind of like that. And I think therein lies the problem. Not everybody's ready for it. And I can say that because, again, it took me a while. So I understand where those quote unquote non-believers, where they're coming from. I really do. And I'm not going to criticize them.
Let me play devil's advocate, no pun intended.
Yeah.
There's so many religions out there. So who's to say the one you believe in is correct?
The Mormons.
Mm-hmm. How can you even prove their existence of a God and a Jesus? I mean, these are stories from 2,000 years ago. Why is this
Let me
one held up and believed, and it's been translated multiple times? And we all know what telephone is like when you say something, and a lot of people embellish stories, like try to scare you so you become a good, obedient kid. So
Yeah.
it's one of those type of questions of why should I believe this? I mean, anything could happen in these stories, and 2,000 years worth of information being passed around.
Mm-hmm. I think because the story now, okay, I read the Bible once a long time ago. I'm not one to quote the Bible because I'm not that savvy in it. Do I read it? Absolutely. I read it all the time. But I'm not one of those guys that can just drop a verse on you, boom, and kind of give it to you like that. I'm not. But I do know, I can say that I've had personal experiences that happened to me that, like, within a week or two, like clockwork, within a week or two, I'll be sharing that with someone and they'll come out, oh, that's Bible verse, blah, 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 blah. And then I'll understand the lesson that was there. Because people should realize the Bible is a living thing. It's a living book. It's alive. But we don't understand kind of that language per se. But it is a living thing. And some people just have that part of them, if you will, turned off or not activated. However you want to look at it, but it absolutely is a living book. It is a real thing. And again, look, I'm not here to convince anybody to think anything. I'm not. That's not what it's about. I think when you have a relationship with in this case with Jesus, it's more like he's just kind of telling you, this place is a mess and this is the way out. So I'm not going to take you physically out here, but you can still live here and live a purposeful life the way you're supposed to live without the burdens of everyday society, which is easier said than done. But when you have that faith in something that you can't see or touch, it's a big ask. It's a big ask of anyone. But once you make that leap, it's like you jump in the air, but then you land on solid ground, on solid spiritual ground, because there's nothing that can really knock people off that. Once you get it, once you understand it, there's no knock. So people, I think, in my opinion, people are just kind of being lazy and maybe they just don't want to think of it. I don't know. It's not for everyone. I wouldn't try to convince a person from Japan. I don't know what they believe in. Shinto. I honestly, I don't know. But the point is, I'm not going to try to convince someone else what I believe, because my life and my experiences are 100% different from theirs.
Yeah.
Jesus helped me. He helped me with my path. And that's all I can speak to. And it's pretty straightforward, man. There's not really too many rules to it. I mean, do unto others and just be a nice guy. That's it. There's only
that's the number one thing, is just be nice. Be a nice guy and help your fellow man. That's a great message.
That to me is not hard, but yet people find ways to justify what they do.
Yeah.
Based on man-made laws. Like, for example, I was looking at, with this whole back to Hawaii thing, these cops were always just following orders of keeping all these people here. And as a result, they all died. Well, I was just following orders. I don't give a shit what you say. Those cops are just as guilty. There's no way on earth that I would ever do anything like that I didn't believe in 100%. There's no way I would do something that a corporation, a piece of paper is going to make me do this. That's going to have a negative impact on another human being. Nah,
Jimmy,
no
I know
way.
what you're talking about, because like I said, I've gone down that rabbit hole. Danny might not know what you're talking about, and some people in our audience probably don't know what you're talking about. But what are you talking about the cops? Are you talking about the blockade or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, I saw video of people being told to being sent back, and they're like, "Are you crazy? There's like the fires are behind us," and they're like, "Sorry, we're not letting anyone through." I saw those videos. They got taken down.
Yeah, that's why I got kicked off of TikTok for the same thing, because we were spreading, just sharing the truth. But yeah, dude, I think any person in a position of power, you always have a right. So what if you get in trouble? At least, because remember, and this is another thing, and this is my personal opinion. A lot of people probably choose not to believe because it's convenient. They don't have to do much thinking about anything, and it kind of releases their spiritual accountability. Because let me tell you something, you will be held accountable. It's not so much held accountable, but you're going to have to balance the books. You're going to have to balance the books. Let me tell you why I can say that with 100%, with 1,000% confidence. When I first, and I don't know if I mentioned to this in another interview with you guys, my first introduction, my first bonding, if you will, with the Lord. Let me just give you an idea what this was like. He took me back to the first grade. To first grade, I was in Academy Street School in Dover, New Jersey. And we used to, did I tell you this? We used to line up to go to the bathroom. Because I was always a little shit, you know? And I always wanted to be first. I had to cut in front of the line. I didn't want to be, I had to be first all the time. So when I first had my encounter with the Lord, let me give you an idea how this started. He took me back to the first grade. And we were all standing in line. This is during a meditation session. He took me back to the first grade. We're standing in line, and I cut in front of the line to go to the restroom. Because we would line up, and the boys and girls would go to the restroom. That's when we used to know the difference between boys and girls. And so when I cut in front of the line, and then I saw everybody in line standing there, and then I started to feel their energy coming towards me like, dude, you're a dick for cutting in front of me. It started there. It started in first grade all the way up to present day, that day when it happened. And listen closely to what I'm going to tell you. Every single thing that I had put out there into the world, whether it's beating somebody up, punching them in the face, or driving by and giving them the finger because they cut me off, every single negative piece of energy that I put out into the world came back to me. All the pain that I had caused every single person with a mean look, with a gesture, it all came back to me. And it was a pain that you can't even begin to fathom. Beyond words. There's no words in this world that can describe the pain that I felt through. I mean, the pain that I felt and what I went through. But he literally, that's why I say the books were balanced, because everything I put out there, I had to balance it out. I had to receive it back. And let me tell you something, man. I can't even describe the words. And this happened 6 years ago. So in my opinion, based on what's happened to me, people don't understand that because they don't want to be held accountable. Now I'm accountable for everything that I do. And do I still drop the ball? Absolutely. Do I get mad and upset? Absolutely. But I'm very careful and I'm very cautious as to what I put out there because I know it's not so much that I'm going to be held accountable and he's going to punish me. But if you punch someone in the face, you're going to get punched back sooner or later. And I mean, every single thing you do will come back to you. So that being said, what does that mean? That means that it's kind of like I have to be the best I can be during every single event, every single encounter going forward, because otherwise it's going to come back to me. A lot of people don't want to live that way. A lot of people say, no, those rules are too much and I'm not going to follow those rules. And that's the end of that. And I understand that as well. But when you have this relationship, when you have these types of things happen to you, it changes you completely. And that was only the first encounter that I've had with the Lord. I've had like serious one-on-one personal encounters. Not maybe like in the last 5 years, maybe 10, 12. But I'm talking like life-changing things. And we are incredibly loved. If you had any idea how much we're loved, you would never worry about anything ever again. It's a love beyond comprehension.
So after this life, when we go to the kingdom, we'll experience that love.
I have experienced that love here in this incarnation. So yes. No, okay. I haven't died and come back. I can't speak to that. You would think so, yes, but I don't. Yeah, you would think so, but I didn't die and come back. But I have visited a place that we would consider to be heaven, and I have experienced that energy that everyone has. The best way I could describe it from a magnitude standpoint, imagine like you're like a little ant, right? Like literally an ant, and imagine a tractor trailer that was like a nuclear facility, you know. Imagine cramming all that tractor trailer inside that ant. Like you can't even, it's like physically impossible. That's the level of energy that I felt. And every single time, without fail, I completely lose my shit. I shouldn't be swearing, but I completely lose it because it is
I'm not going to stop you now.
The love, I know, right? The love is so powerful. All you can do is cry and break down. And I mean completely break down. It is.
I saw that in you when you were talking about your son.
But
And
yeah, but
man,
yeah. So
I feel for you, brother. I do. I can't
thank
say I've
you.
walked in your shoes. I don't want to feel that experience. I can only imagine the pain something like that would create. And I was
But let
telling
me,
my brother on our break, like you could see it in his eyes, like
yeah,
wow.
yeah. Let me tell you, my son came to me as well, which is a further testimony to what I'm saying. And this is the whole nother story. I made a video about it. I made a couple of videos on my channel, but I don't really promote my stuff. It'll find its way to whoever needs to hear it. But after my son was taken from us in November, and we have a place down in Mexico. My wife and I had gone down to the condo just to kind of get our heads straight. She and I, in December of that same year. And during that visit, my son came to me in a vision, a very, very powerful vision. This is one. My son has come to me about 4 or 5 times, different visions as well. And when we were recovering from the trauma, this vision I had with my son, he was explaining what had happened to me. He was explaining what happened to me what happened to us in this life, in this vision. I don't want to go down. I'm going to do a terrible job trying to describe it now because it's kind of a big story. But in this vision, he came to me kind of like this. I'm just going to grab this. So I was in meditation, and he came to me, and he was like, "Well, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen," and then he kind of came like this, and then that's going to happen, and then boom, almost like I got a glimpse of a conversation that he and I were having, sitting down at a table on a spiritual level, if that makes any sense at all. He and I were literally sitting at a table, and we were almost talking about his death. And he was telling me, okay, this is going to happen, and that's going to happen, and that's going to happen. And then the conversation just went away. And then I was like, was this whole thing planned? Like, what's going on right now? Regardless of how you want to interpret that or how I choose to interpret that, the point being is that there's much, much more to this life than we were ever led to believe. I believe that you cannot convince me otherwise. Because I've had again, my father has come to me. My father passed over. My friend Fred came to me. I don't know if we were planning on going down this rabbit hole, guys. We were
Not
talking
at
about
all. But we're here. We're here.
Yeah, dude, but one time we were at dinner. My friend Fred came to me, and again, this is the bigger story. But he had died of cancer, and he was a big burly guy, and he had lost a lot of weight. And when he passed away, he was very frail. And in his vision, when he came to me, because we were with his wife, he showed me a vision of him being young and strong in a t-shirt, real buff. And then he goes, "Tell Candy, this is how I want her to remember me, not the way she saw me pass." So, things like this happen to a person. It really changes you.
Yeah.
It changes you. And then it also, it digs your roots deeper into why we are here. What am I doing here? What is the purpose? Like, why is Luke here? Why is Daniel here? What is the purpose of your life? Here's the way I see it. And I'm kind of a hard ass. If you're not, people should understand that you have a purpose in life. And your job is to find your purpose. But until you find your purpose, you're not going to get the job. Once you find your purpose, God will give you the requisite. Here's the job, Rick. You find your job. That's the dichotomy. So Luke and Daniel, you got to say, how do I fit into this life? How do I fit into this existence? How and why does my existence matter? What difference am I going to make? What have I learned that I can come back and contribute to the world to make the world a better place? Sometimes people don't even ask themselves that question because they're like, oh, it's Sunday, I got to watch football, blah, 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 blah. And they just kind of live their life very unconsciously. And that's okay. That's okay. But when you find your purpose in life, none of this bullshit matters. You don't give a shit about anything else because you understand that you're here for a bigger reason. There's much, much more to life than
I believe you. None of this really matters at the end, but right now we're in the
moment. I'm not picking on you guys, but in general.
But we're in this moment right now of the world burning and flames and fires everywhere and just a lot of craziness. And we were talking about the debates and stuff. Who you feel is going to win in 24?
My unqualified opinion, okay, because I don't know. I don't think we're going to have an election, to tell you the truth. I don't believe we're going to have an election. After
Horrible.
2020, after watching things like 2000 Mules and this and that, just kind of understanding, you find out what happened in South America with the same machines, in Central America with the same machines, all over the country with these same machines that are, by the way, from a company called Dominion. Of all the names in the world they could have picked, they picked Dominion to determine who's going to run stuff. Just a coincidence. So that being said, I actually unregistered. I'm no longer a registered voter. I completely disconnected myself from the system because I don't believe in it. I'm not going to support it. And what's going to happen is going to happen. I'm smart enough to understand that my vote don't really mean shit. Because it's their system. I'm going to make a difference in this life my own way. Not on your terms, not on his terms, on my terms. So F you and your stupid system that's corrupt and bullshit. I don't need it. I'm here for a bigger purpose in life.
I don't think Biden's going to be unchallenged on his party. They're not going to let RFK in there. They're not going to let anyone else even get in there. So he's going to go automatically. Republican side, how do you beat Trump? I mean, he's loved. Like, he's just
dude. Okay, first of all, I'll tell you now, I am extremely unqualified to answer this question, but I'll give you my 2 cents. This is my 2 cents. I think Joe Biden is dead. I think that's an actor or a puppet that we've been seeing forever.
Ooh, I love this story. I love where you're going with this.
I believe that. Yeah, dude, he's a puppet. Yeah, I believe that.
I would believe it if he was a sharp Biden, not like an idiot Biden, unless that's the play.
You know, we're going to talk about that next week. I'm going to write that down. Biden.
It's the perfect play to put Biden in. If you watch season 2 of Succession, which is a great show, who did they put in place? The idiot patsy who they can control. And that's what Biden is. Succession. You got to watch it. It's really good.
Succession.
Yeah. Yeah. So back to that. This is my personal opinion, and I'm willing to be 100% wrong. I don't think that. I think everything that we're seeing right now is just a dog and pony show. I don't believe we're going to have a 2024 election.
That'd be the first.
I just don't. I think we're in much deeper waters than people understand. And
I agree with you.
I think this whole system, and the reason they hate the Orange Man. Look, I'm keeping it very basic. I'm not defending the Orange Man. I'm only saying, I'm only saying that these people, the ones at the left and the right, have been stealing from the store for a long time. When Orange Man came in office, he goes, hey, you guys are going to stop stealing from the store. We need to kind of restore some shit around here. And everyone said, F you, we got to get this guy because our little party is coming to an end. And it's as simple and as complicated as that. It's as simple and as complicated as that. And so they were able to go after him because of his personality. He's very, whatever. He is who he is. I don't care. I don't care that he's an asshole. So what? I'd rather... Let me ask you this, or ask the average person this. Who would you rather follow into battle? Trump or Biden?
I'm on my own. I'm ditching those 2 guys.
Yeah, but you know what?
But I'm just saying.
Here's the thing. Trump does love America. He really does.
I do. Say that about any candidate. Though.
No. He said that before he even was president. You go look at his old interviews, and they ask him, he goes, I love this country. It's the best country in the world. Of course, because you're a billionaire, you're going to love the country. I get it. But you're right. He went in and he disrupted everything.
Yeah.
I got to say, I felt for me and my family, we were doing awesome. Yeah. Like we financially, we were really well. Mm-hmm. Groceries were low. Gas was low. I felt rates were a good place for housing. Prices for houses were good. But then again, this thing called COVID came and derailed everything. Mm-hmm. And it looks like it's coming back. Convention.
It's a crack of shit. Yeah.
But it's coming right before the elections, which for me
very
is
convenient.
Very fucking convenient.
But yet they won't. That what you just said right now is like Chinese math to the majority of people. Chinese math. I
love Chinese.
They're not going to get it. They're not going to get it. That's just no. People are just dumb, man. People don't want to think. I think, in my opinion, my personal opinion, I think the scare that you're referring to, I don't even want to say it, make it bad, was a prerequisite for people to get the jab. And I don't know if you guys are jabbed or not, but I feel very strongly about that. Based on information that I've researched. Yeah, dude, I think COVID was a scare for the jab. Because there's no way you can convince these people, hey, put this in your body. Don't ask what's in it. We're not going to tell you what's in it. If something happens to you, you really don't have any recourse. How do we get these
You have
people
no
to
rights.
put this in their
I get
bodies?
it.
You have no rights.
But
And
Jimmy,
so-
let me play devil's advocate for you.
Yeah.
If the majority of the people already have the shot,
Mhm.
and the people with the shot are giving blood, and someone that doesn't have the shot needs a blood transfusion, they're going to get that in their body through the blood, right?
Well, okay. So in the
No?
same breath, I'll say that, but I think there's a lot of different other delivery methods that they
Our
use
food.
to put these things inside our body. So there's that. I think the one with, honestly, I'm not qualified to speak on that. Here's why. Because I didn't get the jab, I don't give blood, and I don't get blood. So that's really kind of out of my, I really shouldn't speak to it because I don't know what I'm talking about. But I just have my opinion. I'm never going to get the jab ever. I'm not going to, hopefully I'll never need blood, but until it applies to me, I'm not going to bring it into my reality until it's knocking on my front door, because that's something that I can choose to worry about that. But why? Well, I can choose to worry about, anything else. The world
I don't want to shut down again. I just don't want the world to shut down. I don't want these mask mandates to come back. For me, I start freaking out when people start wearing them.
People, you know what? Because people are. I'm sorry, but most people are just dumb. They're not going to. Well, this thing tells me I have to wear a mask, so I have to wear a mask. Well, what about your rights? What about what you want? Don't what you have to say matter at all? How come you don't stand up for yourself? If you're not comfortable doing something, don't do it, dude. It's bullshit, bro. It's bullshit. But until people learn to stand up for themselves, they're going to be mindless sheep. That's what the TV says, and so I'm going to do it. It's bullshit. The mask is a bunch of crap. It never worked, and it made things worse.
Dude,
it's a control thing, and it's
I disagree. I disagree. I think the mask works because if you go into a bank to rob a bank, wouldn't you rather have a mask on so they wouldn't know who you are? Like the mask works for that, right? You won't know my identity, but not to kid around or anything. I hate when I see people by themselves in a car wearing a mask. That drives me absolutely.
I saw a lady jogging this morning. I was picking up my wife from the airport. She just got back from Florida this morning, and I'm going down there, and there was a person jogging on Central with a mask. Bro, pero qué pendeja, pero qué estupidez. Really,
Yeah.
People like that. I'm telling you, with me,
understanding.
If I walk into a room, right, if there's a place and there's somebody with a mask, I don't care what you say, I will completely ignore them. Completely 100% ignore them because I don't even want to deal with them. I don't give a shit. That's me. I have the right to do that. I won't even look their way because they're literally non-existent.
What if that had nothing to do with COVID? And they have a mask on?
Well, that's different. That's because I know, like,
well, don't presume right away.
It's a different thing, but come on, we all know who's
But if it had nothing to do with COVID and they're wearing a mask, would you?
Well, that's kind of. I mean,
maybe
I'm being a little bit facetious. You got to be between the lines there, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, if I can avoid someone with a mask, because I'm going to think, well, maybe you're sick, and I don't want you to get me sick.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's the end of it. That's the end of it.
I mean, for in the winter times, that's when flu is most prevalent. So if someone has the flu but still needs to go to the grocery store to get rations, and they wear a mask on because they don't want to get others sick, would you appreciate them or would you make fun of them for having a mask on?
I'm never going to see that person again for the rest of my life. So why do I give a shit what they're doing right here when I'm with them in the store?
Why are they in the store with the flu?
Because they had.
Yeah, well, look, but the point
supplies.
is, I'm going to get in and get out. I'm not going to sit there and have a conversation. I'm just saying, I really don't give people
on planes with COVID all the time. So, I mean, so if you saw someone with a mask on, they're sick, but they really need to get like maybe over-the-counter medicine at the grocery store, or they really need to get food or water.
But they can get it to their car.
Yeah, no, okay. I think we're splitting hairs here, guys. Again, I don't want to get too hung up on this. The point, let's just leave it at this. I don't believe in masks. I'm not going to wear a mask, and that's the end of it. I mean, really, I don't. We can spend a lot of time on this, but it's not. I don't give it that much thought. I'm not even going to give it. I'm done talking about it. How's that?
No, I'm going to go back to Biden's dead. That's where I'm at. Like, it's funny you say that. I have some because I have a lot of friends, that send me stuff all the time, and
Yeah.
a lot of my military buddies send me stuff, and they're like, Biden's dead, dude. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Something about his daughter let it slip that he died or something.
His brother's playing that role.
The earlobe thing is the biggest pointer, right? And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, are these pictures real? Like, I asked my buddy, are these pictures you're sending me real? So this is two different people if that's the case. But
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, like, I can understand him being in a bunker and stuff because it's not the real whatever. He's not taking questions. He never takes questions from press unless they're softballs.
Mhm.
I'm 100% not a Biden fan at all. I'd rather see RFK in there, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah.
We all know you're a Trump fan.
well,
You give it up too easily now.
no,
You're a huge Trump fan.
everyone thinks I'm a Trump fan because I hate Biden.
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing with the left. If you don't hate Trump with every drop of blood in your body, then you're with him. If you don't hate him with everything, then you're one of them. And that's the way they are. My friends back east are the same way, dude. They like just because I don't hate Trump. I'm not saying I like him. I'm not saying I love him. I'm indifferent. I never met the guy. What do I know?
Yeah.
And I don't watch TV. I don't know what he says on TV. I don't know what Biden says on TV because it don't really matter to me.
The left has they don't pump the brakes on some of their ideologies. They just keep going all in on these new progressive ideologies. And if you question them, they start to eat each other and cancel each other out.
Well,
if you notice this.
I told you earlier about two people we know, I don't want to say their names, that are big time Democrats. And if I don't have the same idea as them, when I'm like, honestly, bro, do you really think Biden's good? And they come up with, oh, he's the best president we've ever had. You're stupid. First of all, stop. I could agree with Obama being good. Dude, I could agree and say Bill Clinton was great. Some people will say he had one hiccup. Nah, dude, I don't consider that hiccup. Like, fist bump, like, good for you, bro. You did your thing. But to tell me he's better than, those two Democratic presidents, you're absolutely crazy. Crazy. Biden doesn't even fight for us, man. Like, dude, get out of here. And then the whole thing with Trump, again, the economy was good. Trump, did you know Trump's the first president in I can't remember how many decades where he did not start a war?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
He didn't want to go to war. He doesn't believe in war. He talks things out. People are scared. He goes in office in 24. The next day, he'll be on Zelensky saying, we're not sending you shit. He'll sit down with Putin and say, stop it. And it will be resolved.
Wait, what war did Obama start?
I think this whole Ukraine
Obama
thing
has a lot of wars. If you pull up Obama, there's a lot of wars with Obama.
I mean, he continued on wars.
He continued wars,
like Trump did. He continued on the wars that were started by the Bush administration.
No, he started his own wars. He's 8 years that Obama started wars.
Name one
Obama dropped something
in my head. I mean,
the wars we're talking about are the global war on terror and the Iraq war, which were both started by Bush. Obama carried them. So did Trump. Well, Obama ended.
There's no war on terror, bro. Don't believe that, bro. Don't believe that.
Sure,
don't believe that.
I don't.
I think that.
I was in the Middle East, so I'm aware.
Yeah, okay, I get it, but how long were you there?
Man, I get it.
How long were you there? But I
did one tour, which lasted 7 months. 7 months.
With all due respect, dude. With all due respect, I don't believe. I mean,
but I'll tell you this.
I think we have solutions to these problems. I really don't.
Yeah, but we started most of these problems. The U.S. has started most of these problems, and you got these third world countries that can't defend themselves. That when they do defend themselves, they're deemed bad, evil, whatever. But we are pushing an agenda, and it's sad because if you were on the other side, you'd be pissed. And the whole thing with like 9/11 stuff, their children are going to be coming after us, and it's never going to stop because the West is the oppressor. We're the Lannisters of the Game of Thrones.
I never saw that show.
Look what's going on right now that we're pushing. We're pushing all these agendas on all these other countries, right? The whole LGBT things, all these countries, and they're like, no, we don't believe in the West stuff. Get out of here.
You know what's funny, dude? I don't even like. Again, I don't waste my time watching that type of trash. It is. I just can't even believe that people get sucked into this madness, that I don't even know. That's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show. This is a lifestyle, or it's a sexual preference that has nothing to do with you as an individual, as a person. And I think it's a slap in the face. My best friend, Chris Renner, rest in peace. He was my brother for 30 years. We were born one day apart. And he was a gay white guy from Indiana.
Yeah.
And I'm a Puerto Rican from New Jersey. We couldn't be more different. We couldn't be more different. He was a diehard Democrat, yada, yada, yada. And we would fight all the time like cats and dogs. But he would be one that did this whole movement that you're doing. It's a crock of shit. And it's a slap in the face, to someone like him. Yeah, they're
Hey, let me answer a question.
yeah.
Obama is the first two-term president to be at war every year. He started 7 different airstrikes against Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Libya, Yemen, Somalia, and Pakistan. So he did a lot. His administration did a lot.
I was there with the Trump administration when we bombed Yemen.
Did he start Yemen?
Well, I mean, here's
right?
I thought he wanted to get out of
shot at. I was not shot at by bullets. I was shot at by missiles. But when I was in the Middle East, we don't know who it was. We just said it was Yemen rebels, and we just blew up that area, and the shooting stopped.
I'm gonna put you on the spot here. Let me ask you a question, man. So what if I'm gonna make up a bullshit scenario just for the sake of this. So imagine we got a big problem with the I don't know, gangs, Bloods and the Crips, assuming they're still warring against each other. I don't know if they got along now, if they're getting along nowadays. But imagine we had a situation here with the Bloods and the Crips, and Russia came over to fix our problem because we couldn't fix. They just start dropping bombs and blowing shit up, and how would you feel? This is the question. How would you feel if you saw a military soldier from another country walking around or riding around in Gilbert, Mesa, wherever you live, trying to control shit? How would that
win hearts and minds?
I'm sorry?
And trying to win hearts and minds.
Yeah, exactly. So,
No, I get that point 100%. Yeah, it's hard to win hearts and minds after you just bomb someone's family and the village.
We're going to their backyard with guns and weapons. And then we don't understand, and then we kill all kinds of people. And then how do we expect that to not come back and have an effect on us? Whereas you're going to tell me instead of going to war, we can't find negotiators that can make things work. Talking about that, I've had, and I can say this with confidence, twice in my life, I've had a gun pulled on me. And obviously I'm still here because I was able to talk my way out of it. The point being that you're not going to tell me that we can't fix all these problems. Nah. This is kind of another rabbit hole. The reason we have these types of problems in the world is because people don't have peace in their hearts. Peace does not exist outside of us. It doesn't. Peace needs to begin internally, and then it radiates outwardly. But for fighting for peace and it's the biggest crock of shit in the world. Everybody needs to look at themselves as an individual and understand that you are the only conduit of peace on earth. Period. If it's not coming from you, it's not going to get here. Period.
To achieve peace, do you believe you have to fight for it through strength?
Yeah, internally. Yeah. Somebody did you wrong. That guy who killed my son, I had to forgive him. And I forgave him. When he was being sentenced, I forgave him. I said, I forgive you for what you did, but I will not forgive you for the pain you caused my family. But yeah. Was that easy? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I was probably the only one of all the people that spoke because he ended up killing 4 people. I don't want to go down this road, but there were other families there. And everyone had thrown him under the bus, letting him have it, I don't remember the conversation, but the point being is that, folks, you need to find peace within yourself. It's the only way you're going to find peace. Do not expect another person to bring you peace because they're not going to bring it. It's not going to come. You have to make your own peace in this world. And the only way you can do that is when you have, in my opinion, in this case, Jesus in your heart. Just kind of lets everything go. I forgave the man that killed my son. I forgave him, and I have peace in my heart now. And that's it. So you think I give a shit about, anything else? You think I care about anything else? No, man. Because I understand the mission. I understand the journey. This life is temporary, and we really got to go out with a bang. Not everybody takes their life that serious. I get it. And I'm not asking anybody to take their life that serious. I'm just sharing, if you decide to take your life very serious, you can have a much more fulfilling journey while you're here. And you get to weed out all the riffraff, all the junk that doesn't really apply. Let me tell you, I have not watched television in forever. I haven't heard Trump speak. I haven't heard Biden speak. I haven't heard more than 2 minutes of any of those men speak in the last 5-6 years. Hand of God. Maybe
yeah,
5
but
minutes.
next time we talk, Jimmy, I want to go deep on Biden. Biden's dead. I want to go down that rabbit hole.
Let me tell you, I want to continue on the conversation of internal peace, and then we'll do that. Let's take a break right here.
Yeah.
And then get back to it. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to come back for a three-peat?
Yeah, why not?
Finish up
today?
It's up to you, Jimmy. Do you have time?
You know what? Dude, not because I got to go to my buddy's house up in North Scottsdale. Fill out some paperwork that I got to send in that I want to fax.
Let's do it next time then.
Let's do it next
time. Without a doubt.
Write it down.
And hopefully by then I have a better setup, in my man cave with my mic and headphones.
Freshen it up.
Yeah, I'll set it up. Yeah.
All right.
But no, guys, like I said, this is one thing leads to another. One thing leads to another.
Right?
All right, we'll talk to you here pretty soon, probably in the next 2 weeks. We're off next week. We're going to a bachelor party for our cousin next week. So,
and then
where are you going?
We're going to Vegas.
No
the week after that, I'm not available. I have to go to Atlanta.
Yeah, so within the next 2 weeks or so, we'll get you on.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. Well, have fun to be safe in Vegas. Don't forget they call it the city of sin for a reason.